Ladies and gentlemen, thieves and crooks, hoodlums of all ages, I am the Comic Outlaw, and yes, I am bringing you another Outlaw's View on a certain comic book. And let's get right into it. It's Wolverine and Hercules, Myth, Monsters, and Mutants. Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed this comic book, and I thought I'd bring you part two and do the rest of the series out. And I do love this show. I do love the team up. Very interesting team of Wolverine and Hercules. I think they're good party buddies, and I think they gel well together. And I'm surprised there's not another series besides this one. But going right into it, Wolverine's doing what Wolverine does, slashing, going for anything possible, trying to knock this big Minotaur down, but it seems like his adamantium has no effect on his skin, or very little even on the lion. Now, this is the fabled lion that Hercules had taken out all those years ago with the thick skin, the one that he ended up making a cloak out of. You guys ought to check out the 12 Labors of Hercules, read some books. Now, as he's staring down the Minotaur and the lion, Wolverine, of course, is in no slouch. He gets right into it. He finds Hercules knocked out on the floor. So Wolverine's got to do what Wolverine does by himself. Outnumbered and really kind of no way to kill these guys because he has really no intel on it. Wolverine's trying to figure it out. But with his healing factor, he's more than a decent match for them. And as Hercules and Wolverine go smashing through the wall to buy themselves some time to kind of figure out what's going on, kind of figure out where these creatures are coming from and why, all of a sudden someone pops up on the screen. And of course, in every tale, both Greek and comic book, the villain always has to gloat. And this is King Eurystheus. If I say that wrong, I'm not good on my Greek. So, he's Hercules' cousin. He was the king that sent him on those 12 labors and ended up losing his head in the process, you could say. But he's back for revenge. He's back to take a little revenge on his cousin Hercules. And thanks to his stepmother Hera, both these creatures were resurrected and ready for revenge. Revenge on Hercules. Revenge on anyone else who helps him or anyone that stands in their way. Look at just how mean and interesting this is. Like, I love how they bring back the old school and the new school with this comic book. But anyways, Hercules gets attacked by that lion right into the back. Slam! Wham! Him and the Minotaur double team Hercules. And good old Herc. He does tend to get knocked out a lot, doesn't he? But of course, Wolverine does what Wolverine does best. And I love how Wolverine has spent so many years in combat, so many years fighting. He seems to adapt to almost any situation. I mean, he doesn't have to be the strongest guy in the room. Sometimes he's just the quickest, the better warrior. And sometimes it is the better warrior that wins over the stronger or even more savage characters. And this just proves that Wolverine is a jack of all trades when it comes to combat. But of course, Hercules wakes up and does what Hercules does and hits him right in the face. Slams him through the wall. And of course, Hercules does a repeat of how he beat the lion the first time and just snaps. Gets it in a headlock and holds it still, slowly squeezing the air out of the lion's lungs as Wolverine recovers. And I love how Wolverine and the Minotaur have a meeting of minds. Bonk. But anyways, Wolverine does his little flip magic, dares the Minotaur to come towards him, and just like any cartoon villain, he goes flying out the window. He might have lived through ancient times and might be hundreds of years old, but he's still dumb as rocks. Now, nobody's perfect. But anyways, Wolverine, looking down, admiring his handiwork, turns around and sees Hercules snapping that creature's neck. A repeat of how he killed the lion the first time. And now they're left to wonder and basically pick up the pieces of what's going on. This is the first time they've actually had a minute to sit and talk and conversate. And of course, Wolverine's asking, well, who's this and why? But out of nowhere, a ninja comes out and starts attacking. I think Wolverine decides that he's going to take this one. But the very interesting thing is, and if you notice, her blades actually cut Hercules, which is that's a very hard thing to do, considering that he is a god. That means the blades must have some kind of magic. And of course, Wolverine, being the best at what he does, ends up striking a blow on the arm. But as you notice, it's not flesh. What is this creature? What could it be? But during this myth and monsters, you never know what's going to pop up. And Hercules is thinking. For once, Hercules is using his brain, trying to figure out what this creature is. And surprise, it is Medusa. As Hercules ducks down and grabs Wolverine and tells him to duck down too. For the curse of Medusa is that you turn to stone when you look at her, when you gaze upon her. Very interesting Greek mythology creature. And as she calls out to them, daring them to stare at her, to meet her gaze, to turn flesh into stone. Meanwhile, at the Hand headquarters, they're debating what to do with their current treachery. Basically, they're pissed at Wolverine, they're pissed at Hercules, they're pissed at Eurystheus for basically screwing them over. So they're trying to figure out their next move, because nobody screws over the Hand without them sending about 300-400 troops out there to try to eliminate them. So in the middle of their plotting and planning, they are met with the good, the head of these monsters, Eurystheus, and something tears off the roof in a kind of tearing noise. And what could it be? What creature so horrid from the ancient times could he have called upon? What is it, you may ask? It is the dreaded Cyclops. Yes, the Cyclops is back, having his way with the building and destroying all in its path. I mean, look at the size of this creature. Wow. It really gives you a scope on what these creatures were and back in the day when Hercules was actually big balling and shot calling in ancient times, him and Thor. But as the creature starts coming down, clubbing everything in sight, killing Hand members at will, dispatching them. As the Hand members die, they turn into like mist, like poof, little green mist. So the Cyclops is doing what the Cyclops does and quickly dispatching them. The Hand is basically retreating, trying to find a safe place to hide out. And of course, Medusa is taking care of our boys, shattering the mirror so she doesn't become a victim of her own curse, as what happened to her with Perseus, I do believe. And she's coming after the warriors right now, but Wolverine gets an idea to kind of distract her. Now Wolverine's going to try to keep his eyes closed and try not to meet his gaze, but he comes at her with a slashing attack. Now Wolverine's been a fighter for a lot of years. He's done a lot of different combat. Blind fighting is one of them. But of course, even Wolverine succumbs to a pain like that, an enchanted blade going through his body. But as Wolverine distracts her, as he takes the blow for the team, Hercules does grab the other knife, the other weapon, and makes his way towards the evil creature and slashes off her head. Slash! And her head goes flying off in a whirl of blood. And Hercules quickly congratulates himself, as he always does, putting the head in the bag, but he realizes, oh no. Oh no. It happened. Logan, he says. Logan. He's turned to stone. Zounds. What will happen? How will Hercules find a way to help Wolverine? Can he end this curse? Can he do something to reverse the gaze of the evil Medusa? But that, my friends, my hoodlums, my outlaws, is for another time. For this is Jack Slater, the comic outlaw, and you know that I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.